Hi, I'm Sam Mattis. I'm a discus thrower for Team USA's Olympic team and an Eco Athletes champion. Today, I'll be reading The Energy Detectives, The Mystery of the Snow, written by Madeline Rosenberg and illustrated by Paul Meisel. Annabeth was one of the best detectives on Sandy Street. She loved the mystery of Mrs. Chang's garbage. She figured out who was taking the mail, and she knew that no two snowflakes are exactly alike. Mysteries solved by Annabeth. Charlie was Sandy Street's other best detective. He found Pickles, the class guinea pig, when no one else could. He knew what happened to the very last snickerdoodle, and he discovered how to use baking soda to make his rocket fly. Charlie's detective agency, mystery solved, lost things found. Annabeth and Charlie never worked together, ever. Instead, when they saw each other, they argued over who was the best detective. "It's me," said Charlie. "No, it's me," said Annabeth. "Actually, it is I, Pickles, private investigator." One frosty morning, they met in the yard and saw something surprising. Charlie's roof was covered with snow. Annabeth's was not. "A mystery," said Charlie. "I'll solve it first." "We'll see about that," said Annabeth. Detective Pickles, ready to roll. Before either detective could investigate, it was time for school. In math class, while Mrs. Gagnon talked about weights and measures, Charlie couldn't stop thinking about his roof. Maybe the sun had come out right over Annabeth's house and melted all the snow. The sun has always been Earth's best source of energy. It's 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface, and we need that heat. Then, in history, while Mrs. Gagnon was explaining the Boston Tea Party, Annabeth wondered if a family of raccoons had knocked the snow off of her roof. Raccoons have a lot of energy, and speaking of energy, the ships at the Boston Tea Party used their sails to move with the power of the wind. When it was time for science, Annabeth and Charlie were still thinking about the snow mystery. Because they weren't paying attention, they didn't hear the answers when Mrs. Gagnon said, "Let's think of ways to use less energy, help our environment, and save money all at the same time. We could wear heavier sweaters so we don't have to turn up the heat. We should turn the lights off and have class in the dark. We can take speedy showers. We ought to unplug things we aren't using. What uses the most energy in our homes? If you guessed heating and cooling, you'd be right." They didn't even hear Amina suggest using electric eels to light the cafeteria, but they did hear Mrs. Gagnon say, "Great ideas. Now for homework, I want you all to be energy detectives." "Best assignment ever," Charlie said to himself, and Annabeth was thinking the same thing. Electric eels really do have energy and could power a light bulb. They catch their prey by stunning them. What a shocker. Mrs. Gagnon continued, "Work in pairs to look for clues. Then we'll make a class list, and the class with the longest list will go on a field trip to a solar farm. When we drive down the street, you'll also see a few houses making electricity from the sun on their roofs. The pair that comes up with the most ideas will help cook pizzas in the farm's solar power oven." Annabeth loved pizza. So did Charlie. Delizioso. They raced home and began to search. Here's Charlie's house. See what you can spot. And here's Annabeth's house. See what you can find. When they met again, Charlie told Annabeth, "I found 8 things." "I found 9, Annabeth said. Would that be enough for their class to win the competition and for them to be the pair to help cook the pizza? They decided to continue searching together. Finally, they're really going to work as a team. First, they went to Charlie's house and spotted some things they could add to their list. Closing the freezer door would be a good start. Why did the refrigerator join the track team? Because it was always running. At Annabeth's house, they searched low and high. One place they spotted clues was in the attic. "Wow, your attic is practically empty," said Charlie. "Mine has pink insulation," he added. "Insulation," they said together. "That explains it," Annabeth exclaimed. "With no insulation, the heat escaped and melted the snow on my roof." Time to measure for the pink stuff and make it at least 12 inches thick. The The next week, Mrs. Gagnon had good news for the class. "Congratulations," she exclaimed. "Our class came up with more examples of energy waste than any other, so we're going to the solar farm on Friday. And Amina and Sophie will have the honor of using a solar-powered oven to make pizzas for us all." Amina grinned and Sophie beamed as the rest of the class clapped and cheered for them. Charlie and Annabeth were disappointed they hadn't won, but excited about the trip and pizza. At the farm, everyone walked past the grazing cows to the solar field, being very careful where they stepped. They learned how the farm generated clean energy for the community, and the pizzas were the best they'd ever tasted. Not enough people use solar energy, but they're warming up to it. Charlie and Annabeth were eager to share with their friends and neighbors what they had learned. That Sunday, they set up a table in the front yard and handed out pamphlets with lots of tips for saving energy. There was plenty to do, and the energy detectives were up to the challenge. Charlie and Annabeth, energy detectives. We solve energy mysteries, and other mysteries too. Join our mission to save energy and help the planet. We're going to need a lot of help, including yours. I'm an eco-athlete champion because I believe it's important for all of us, no matter what we're doing, whether it's in sports or school, wherever you are, to pitch in and do what you can to help with climate change. It's something that affects all of us, and it's the most important thing we can do right now. Remember when Charlie and Annabeth searched their houses for examples of energy waste? Well, I have a challenge for you. Look back at their houses and see if you can spot things that they missed. Under the solar panel below, you'll see what they did find, and also what they didn't. Don't peek until you've done your best. At Charlie's. Bedroom lights left on, electrical items left on, dryer almost empty, faucet left on, stove left on, blender left on, broken toilet, bathroom lights left on, bathroom faucet dripping, television left on, exercise bike left on, inefficient boiler. At Annabeth's. No insulation, computer game left on, light on in empty tank, hair dryer on too long, shower left on, faucet dripping, window left open, laptop left on, vacuum running, stove on with window open, empty microwave on, dripping faucet.